The space station's bar hummed with quiet conversation, the low murmur of different species exchanging news, business, and rumors. The air smelled of synthetic spice and recycled oxygen, the usual mix of a place that catered to those who listened more than they spoke. Vorik's third and fourth hands trembled slightly as he raised his drink. Across from him, Garvin, a fellow trader from the Osari Collective, leaned in, his iridescent eyes gleaming with curiosity. "You look troubled, Vorik." Garvin's mandibles clicked as he tilted his head. "What did you hear?" Vorik's throat clicked, a sign of unease among his kind. "Did you hear about the human transport ship?" Garvin gave a dismissive wave. "Ah, yes, the Orion's Wake. Destroyed, wasn't it? Unfortunate, but hardly surprising. Humans are new to the galactic lanes. They were bound to make enemies." He took a sip of his drink, unconcerned. "Who was it? The Vakrath? The Syndicate?" Vorik stared at him. "No," Vorik rasped. "It was the Hikari Marauders." Garvin's mandibles froze mid-click. The Hikari, cutthroats, pirates, mercenaries feared across 3 sectors. They had survived encounters with the Dominion, the Syndicate, and even the Vahodran war clans. They never lost. "They boarded the Orion's Wake?" Garvin asked, frowning. Vorik shook his head. "No, they destroyed it, fired on it, let it burn in the void." He exhaled sharply, gripping his glass. They thought the humans would scatter, run, that they would do what every other species does when faced with superior firepower. Garvin narrowed his eyes. And, Vorik swallowed, the humans came. The response. At first it had seemed like nothing. The Hikari pirates, emboldened by their victory, celebrated openly, transmitting their triumph over open channels, laughing about how easy it was. Then the human ships arrived. Not freighters, not slow, lumbering transports. Warships. Vorik's voice dropped to a whisper. They didn't come with demands. They didn't broadcast ultimatums. They didn't even identify themselves. He leaned in. They just cut through the void like knives. Garvin listened now, really listened. "They were sleek," Vorik continued, his voice hollow with something like reverence. "Black hulls, no wasted design, predatory. Their engines ran cold, no heat signatures until they were already in striking distance." Garvin shivered. "What did they do?" Vorik licked his lips. "They shut down the Hikari's engines first. Disabled their jump drives. The Marauders didn't even know where the attack came from. 1 second, their flagship was boasting over comms. The next, silence." Garvin frowned. "They must have retaliated." "They did," Vorik nodded. "They fired everything, pulse cannons, torpedoes, disruptors. But the humans didn't fight like warlords or pirates. They fought like something else." Garvin hesitated. "Like what?" Vorik's mandibles clicked softly. "Like they had already won. The human warships moved with terrifying precision. Their weapons were not brash, not reckless. Every shot counted. They didn't waste firepower crippling the Marauders. They annihilated them. Their railguns," Vorik whispered, "fired rounds moving at such speeds they punched through shields, armor, and the ships beyond them. The Hikari fired blindly, desperately, but the humans were already ahead of them, flanking maneuvers executed like second nature." He set his drink down. His hands were shaking again. The Marauders tried to surrender. Garvin stiffened. Vorik let out a dry laugh. "They begged." A long silence stretched between them. "Did the humans take prisoners?" Garvin finally asked, his voice softer now. Vorik exhaled. "They answered with a single transmission." He tapped his data slate, playing a recording. A single human voice came through the speakers, calm, measured. "Unkilled our people. No negotiations. No mercy." Then the transmission cut. Vorik's eyes darkened. Then they fired until nothing remained. No wreckage, no survivors, just debris fields and silence. Garvin let the weight of the words settle over him. His drink sat forgotten. The humans wiped them out. Vorik nodded. Garvin looked around the bar. The usual hum of conversation had dulled. Other patrons had heard. Other species had heard. Vorik stared into his drink. "I have traded with humans, Garvin. I have sat across from them, shared meals, shared business. They are polite, rational, friendly." He exhaled. "But if you take from them? If you kill their own?" He shook his head. "There is no war. There is no negotiation. There is only retribution." Garvin sat back, his mind processing what he had just learned. The Galactic Union thought, Humans were the newcomers, that they were still learning their place. They weren't. They had simply been patient. A quiet species until provoked. And then? Then the void belonged to them.